Are you constantly trying to find ways to be more productive in your work day, in your work life period? Well, we hear a lot about productivity, but in this episode, I'm going to share with you why productivity is not enough and what you should be doing instead. Welcome to another episode of Operations Toolbox, the podcast that solopreneurs turn to when they want to implement more system structure and strategy to accelerate the growth of their business. I am your host, Tanya D, and I cannot wait to share some tips during this episode. On the journey from solopreneur to CEO, we learn that time is our most valuable resource, but it's also one of the most limited resources that we have, right? So we can't just produce more time at whim. Okay, it's something that we are given, we are blessed to have, and we have to learn how to use it wisely. A lot of people talk about productivity, and we are always trying to find ways to get more done. So I definitely believe in, having better quality, producing a higher quantity when it comes to our output. And that's what productivity is all about. But during this episode, we're going to talk about why productivity is just not enough as a CEO. You really need a lot more than that in order to get more of the right things done to grow your business. So we're going to talk about productivity is just not going to cut it, but I'm going to share with you what is going to cut it during this episode. So let's talk about from the beginning, right? What is the structure that you want to implement? So I love implementing structures and frameworks and things that we could follow that you can implement through different seasons of your business, because it really works well. So we're not always learning something new. We're just adjusting it according to the season that we're in. So one of the first things I want you to think about before we even get started is, how much time do you spend in your business? This is something that you need to decide from the beginning. And again, it changes over time. So if you're just starting your business, you may be working a full-time job and you are working your business part-time, which is absolutely fine. That's how I started. However, you do need to understand how much time are you going to allocate toward running your business. It could be 20 hours, it could be 10 hours, whatever it is, we need to know what that number is, because based on that, we're going to implement structure around it to help you decide how much time you should be spending in different areas of your business in order to achieve and grow your business. So achieve your goals and grow your business. That's the end result. The first thing you want to do is sit down with yourself and be real about it. Like we have these grandiose ideas, like I'm going to work full-time jobs, 50 hours a week. And then on top of that, I'm gonna spend 40 hours in my business. And then on top of that, I'm gonna spend X amount of hours with my family. We have to be realistic. And so realistically sit down and decide what your schedule is going to be and how many hours you can dedicate toward your business. And you want to make sure that you're consistently doing it. So life is going to happen. It may not be the same every single week, but for the most part, 90+% of the time, this is what I'm going to do when it comes to allocating hours towards my business. So that's something that you want to do right from the beginning. Then what we want to do is we want to separate our business into 5 buckets. So there are 5 categories that you should be working on when it comes to your business. And I'm going to share with you what those 5 are. And then we're going to go into a little bit more detail about what some of the tasks are included in each of those areas and how you to decide to structure your day, week, month, quarter within your business. So first, let's outline what those 5 buckets are. So the 5 buckets are: number 1, CEO bucket. All right. The second bucket is administrative. The third is client delivery. This is our blessing. The fourth is marketing, and the fifth is growth. So let's talk about what each one of those buckets are. The first, CEO, This is where you are going to spend time planning, strategizing, providing leadership if you have a team, and developing your skills. So, those are some of the things that's included in the CEO bucket. This is when you are working on your business instead of in your business. You've probably heard a lot about that. I got that from E Myth. They talk a lot about that. But we need to always be in a position where we are having a bird's eye view, looking down into our business and deciding what we want to do in order to meet our objectives and carry our business forward. Spending time in CEO mode gives us the opportunity to do that. So we definitely need to set time aside to do that every single week. Now, our second bucket is administrative. So these are the tasks that we just have to get done, right? So this could be balancing your books if you do your own bookkeeping. This could be keeping your certifications up to date, filing any taxes, anything that needs to be done. So all of those are going to be like administrative things that need to be done within your business. It could be doing invoices, those tasks that need to be done. Okay, so when it comes to administrative, it's like there's always some administrative work that has to be done, whether it's managing your calendar or something like that, even when you have an administrative assistant. The third bucket, client delivery. This is what I say is what we get to do, right? Is why a lot of us are in this business. So whether it's a service-based business or a product-based business, we're in this business to actually provide something to someone else. And this is us doing the fulfillment of that. Service-based providers, this is you actually building the website if that's what you do. Product-based providers, this is you actually packaging up the products and shipping them out. So the client delivery, this is me fulfilling my obligation. The fourth bucket is marketing. Now, this is something that we have to do all the time as well, right? So, each of these buckets we get to do all the time. The fourth one being marketing, we're always marketing our business. So this is making sure that we are consistently putting ourselves out there so people understand what it is that we offer, the value that we bring. So we're letting people know, hey, I'm here, I'm open for business, and I can help. So everything that goes along with that is included in marketing. So this would even be, for me, I love Canva. So this would even be me doing my little Canva, so that I could post something on social media. The fifth one is growth. So this one, you'll hear coaches and consultants refer to this as those revenue producing activities. And that is what growth really is. It's those things that are going to have a short-term impact on your bottom line, right? So those are the things that we want to make sure we do. Separate marketing and growth, because I don't want people spending all of their time doing marketing and think that they're doing immediate revenue producing activities, right? Because marketing does yield results. But the things that we're talking about within the growth, they are a little bit more immediate. So this is contacting people that you have worked with in the past and sharing with them any new offerings that you may have or how you can help them today. You know what I mean? Or your current customers, maybe expanding the services that you provide for them. So these are things that you could do that's going to impact your bottom line in a shorter period of time. So that's the biggest difference between those two. So now I got these buckets. What do I do? That's what I want to share with you next. So now that you have these buckets, you can start putting tasks under each one of them. So whether you use a to-do list or you use a project management software, you're going to have all of your tasks and you're going to group them into these buckets. So if I'm sitting down and I'm reviewing my weekly numbers, that is going to go under CEO. Or if I am doing something to develop my skills as a leader or develop my skills as a consultant, that is going to go under my CEO bucket. Whereas if I am going back and seeing who paid and, sending out invoice reminders, if my system doesn't do it or whatever the case may be, that is going to be more administrative. So as you're going through and you're making your list, you're going to group them in one of these categories. And then once we have all of that, now what you want to do is you want to decide how much time you should be spending on a daily, weekly, monthly basis in each of these categories. This is going to help to make sure that you are touching all of the things that you need to be touching and you are spending the right amount of time. Now, here's where you have to start playing with the numbers, right? So I could tell you from a CEO perspective, when it comes to planning and strategizing, you need to be allocating at minimum 10% of your time doing those tasks. So if you work 40 hours a week, 4 hours per week needs to be set aside where you're working in CEO mode. That's something that's more standard. So we can talk about that. We can kind of say, okay, this is standard. 10% is the norm for, most businesses. At some point in time, that number is going to grow. Like as you grow your team, you may spend more time doing some more leadership stuff, and then you're going to be working less in another bucket. But to start with, we could start with 10%. Then you have four other buckets. And these buckets are really going to depend on how your business is structured and what season of business you're in. I'll give you an example. If you have a executive assistant or an administrative assistant, then what you will do is you may not have to allocate as much time to administrative tasks because you have someone that's helping you out. And depending on the skill set of that person, they may be able to help you reduce hours in other buckets as well. So, my administrative assistant, she is awesome at administrative tasks, right? So, she definitely helps reduce the amount of time I spend in that area. But she also is able to help me reduce the amount of time that I spend in marketing because there are some tasks that she's really good at that I don't have to do. So, my allocation will look different than yours. But what I want you to think about is, what is your goal? Where are you trying to go? And where are you now? What season of business are you in now? Maybe you are in the beginning stages and you do not have a lot of clients or customers. So you don't need to spend as much time in client delivery. So for you, you're probably going to spend the bulk of your time in marketing and growth. So think about where you are. So yours may look like 10% planning or CEO mode, 10% administrative mode. Then if you don't have as many clients, you could do 5 or 10% in client delivery. And then the bulk of your time is going to be spent in marketing and growth. So you can kind of divide what's left. Now, if you have clients and you have a good marketing system and it doesn't require you as much time, you can spend a little bit more effort in the growth section. So when you're looking at it, look at it as a pie. Decide where you are, where you want to go, and start allocating as much time as you need in each. I am going to recommend that you don't overlook the growth section. You don't overlook the growth bucket and you go out and seek opportunities because a lot of us are in the phase where we're trying to grow our business. And you want to make sure that you are consistently working on those revenue producing activities. So when I say revenue producing activities, I'm talking about activities that are going to produce revenue in a short period of time. You definitely want to be dabbling in that bucket quite frequently. And of course, all of the other buckets have to be done. Look at your schedule. Let's just do a quick recap. Look at your schedule, see what it is that you are able to dedicate towards your business, and then look at your goals, what it is that you're trying to achieve, and where are you now? And based on that, what is the priority? Whatever the priority is the one that you're going to give the most time. Understanding that every single one of these buckets have to be tapped into every single week. So we're not going to go without doing CEO time. We're not going to go without doing administrative time. We're going to tap into all of them, but the percentage may be a little bit less than it is in the other one. I can tell you, I can safely tell you that the largest buckets are your client delivery, marketing, and growth buckets. So that's where you're going to spend a lot of time. But if you don't have that many clients, then the bulk of the time is going to be spent in marketing and growth. Okay. Go ahead, do your assessment, do your percentages. As your business starts to shift, don't think that you shouldn't shift your time because it should shift. But this is going to help you in focusing on more of the right tasks every single week. And then ultimately, yeah, you'll be more productive, but you'll be producing results in the right area because you'll be doing more of the right things. All right. That is it for this episode. And I want to thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again next week.